Today's news highlights. Date February 6, 2025. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump received Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House, becoming Trump's first leader to visit the United States in his second term. The two discussed the war in Gaza and the ceasefire, with Netanyahu emphasizing Israel's war goals, including destroying Hamas and ensuring security. Trump proposed that the United States take over Gaza and rebuild it, and at the same time hoped that Arab countries would accept the Palestinians, but many countries refused. The two sides reaffirmed U.S. Israeli cooperation and emphasized joint efforts to confront Iran. News highlights: Argentina announced its withdrawal from the World Health Organization, WHO, becoming the second country to withdraw after the United States. President Milei pointed to the WHO's lack of independence and political influence, and criticized its mismanagement during the COVID-19 pandemic. Previously, Trump signed an executive order to withdraw from the World Health Organization on his first day in office, accusing him of dereliction of duty in epidemic prevention and unfair fees to the United States. The United States, the largest funder of the WHO, is unhappy with the allocation of funds. Both Argentina and the United States believe that the WHO has mishandled the epidemic and have decided not to participate. News highlights: the central bank announced that the reserve of foreign exchange in January was $577.583 billion, an increase of $906 million month on month, affected by investment income and exchange rate changes. After Trump took office, the financial market fluctuated, and the central bank entered the market to adjust the exchange rate in January and February, and is confident that it will remain stable. At the end of January, foreign holdings of Taiwan stocks and bonds reached a record high of $864.8 billion. Recently, the new Taiwan dollar has fluctuated sharply, and the central bank stressed that it will continue to pay attention to changes in market supply and demand to ensure the stability of the exchange rate, and believes that the impact of Trump's policy will gradually weaken. News highlights: Daeguang's revenue in January was 4.948 billion yuan, a monthly decrease of 12%, but still a new high in the same period of the previous year, an annual increase of 11%. The momentum of pulling goods in February is expected to decline, but the performance in the first 2 months will be better than last year. Benefiting from the upgrade of mobile phone lenses and the launch of flagship phones, the legal person is optimistic that Daeguang's revenue in the first quarter will increase by more than 10% year-on-year. Chairman Lin Enping pointed out that orders for high-spec main lenses are stable, and the number of AI mobile phones and folding mobile phones has increased. In addition, humanoid robot products have been verified and shipped, and the machine vision market is expected to drive growth in the future in the design of industrial robot arms. News highlights: the Executive Yuan's policy address predicts that Taiwan's economic growth rate will exceed 3% in 2025, better than the global average for 2 consecutive years, and the inflation rate is expected to fall below 2%. The government continues to promote investment in Taiwan's 3 major plans, the $1 trillion investment plan and the 5 trusted industries to promote industrial development. In order to accelerate innovation, the SDF will increase investment in AI, cultural and creative industries, smart healthcare, and green net zero, and set up a corporate re-engineering fund to assist disadvantaged industries. In terms of the housing market, the PBOC will continue to monitor the impact of lending policies and adjust measures in a timely manner. On the price front, the Price Stabilization Group extended tariff and rate reductions until March 2025. News highlights: as the U.S. China technology war escalates, U.S. Senator Josh Hawley has introduced a bill that requires Americans to be banned from downloading or using the products of Chinese AI startup DeepSeek, and violators face up to 20 years in prison or a $1 million fine. In addition, the bill stipulates that U.S. individuals or companies cooperating with Chinese universities or laboratories on AI could violate the law, and companies could be fined up to $100 million and foreign nationals could be deported. The rise of DeepSeek's low-cost, high-performance AI model has aroused high alarm in the United States, and if the United States further restricts the company, it may cause another shock in the global AI industry. News highlights: in January 2025, the net inward remittance of foreign capital was $809 million, and the cumulative inward balance reached $284.06 billion, about NT $9.28 trillion, holding the 9 trillion level for 2 consecutive months. Although Taiwan stocks were sold by foreign investors for more than 31.3 billion yuan in January, foreign investors continued to remit the principal, indicating that the strategy of taking profits first and then deploying them. The FSC emphasized that Taiwan's high-end semiconductor advantages and AI application trends remain unchanged, and the revenue of listed companies in 2024 will reach a new high, the fundamentals will be stable, and the market capital momentum is safe, and the market is expected to still have growth momentum in the future. News highlights: the Legislative Yuan launched a large-scale campaign to recall legislators, mainly targeting 37 KMT legislators and 11 DPP legislators. Because of the controversial amendments to the election and recall law, the finance and planning law, and the general budget, civil society groups launched a recall campaign, while the DPP, under the leadership of KG Unming, launched a counterattack against the KMT. Political parties from all sides are actively mobilizing, and the blue-green offensive in defense are intensifying. The recall is underway and will enter a 3-stage process, with the by-election expected to affect the number of seats in the legislature. News highlights: Fubon Angels recently signed South Korea's goddess of 3 strikes Lee Ju-jun, who shared her impressions of Taiwan and her favorite food in her first video after joining. Lee said she was impressed by the enthusiasm of fans at Taiwan's airport, and revealed that she missed Taiwan's sandwiches a lot. After the video was released, it quickly received more than 25,000 likes and sparked heated discussions among netizens, who were curious about which her favorite sandwich was. News highlights: Big S, Suzy Won, traveled to Japan during the Chinese New Year and died of influenza complicated by pneumonia on the 2nd of this month at the age of 48. Her ashes were transported back to Taiwan by a private charter flight yesterday and placed in her home. It was rumored on the internet that the charter flight was arranged and paid for by Wang Xiaofei, but the group of relatives and friends of the S family refuted that the charter flight was actually handled by Xiao S and her husband Su Yejun. Big S and Little S have a deep sisterly relationship, but Little S is depressed, and everyone is worried that she will not be able to return to the fluorescent screen within half a year. News highlights: to S, Suzy Won, died of influenza complicated by pneumonia in Japan during the Spring Festival at the age of 48. His ashes were transported back to Taiwan by a private charter flight, and it was rumored on the internet that the charter flight was arranged and paid for by Wang Xiaofei, but the group of relatives and friends of the S family retorted, saying that all charter matters were handled by themselves. Wang Xiaofei claimed on the internet that she was responsible for arranging the repatriation of ashes and other matters, which triggered criticism from relatives and friends, saying that her remarks were untrue. Although Wang Xiaofei and his new wife Ma Xiaomei went to Taiwan to mourn, they were still criticized for creating an affectionate image for themselves on the internet. News highlights: Big S, Su Ziwan, unfortunately passed away due to influenza complicated by pneumonia during the Spring Festival at the age of 48. Her last endorsement before her death was the Taiwanese healthcare brand T-Club, which recently withdrew its advertisement in remembrance, but many netizens hope that the advertisement can be retained forever so that her image will continue to appear. Big S is keen to share maintenance secrets, and took over the brand endorsement in 2022, cooperating with the brand for more than 3 years, and the brand also expressed deep condolences for her passing, and praised her pursuit of beauty and love for life. News highlights: A fire suspected of being caused by a boiler explosion occurred at 3 a.m. today, 6th, at the Far Eastern New Century Chemical Fiber General Plant in Xinpu Town, Hsinchu County, resulting in 2 deaths and 19 minor and serious injuries. The sound of the explosion shook the surrounding area, and some residents in Zhubei also felt it. The fire smoldered for about 5 hours and has not been completely extinguished. Preliminary investigation revealed that the fire may have been caused by an oil spill and that there was a foul smell at the scene and downwind. Yang Wenk, the county magistrate, said that the accidents occurred in the 3 factories and stressed that fire safety inspections in the factories would be strengthened. News highlights: Actress S died suddenly due to influenza complicated by pneumonia, which aroused the public's attention to the flu epidemic and rushed to get the flu vaccine. Pediatrician Chen Murong shared his experience before the Chinese New Year, telling about a patient who rushed to get vaccinated after a colleague died of influenza. He said that although his reminder failed to convince many people, every warning was a heartache and regret for the doctor. Netizens criticized his reminder as alarmist, and Chen Murong lamented that this criticism made him even more distressed. News highlights: This is the first time that Guoguang Passenger Transport has failed to pay its salary in January due to the government's failure to receive a subsidy of 90 million yuan. Affected by this, the driver was dissatisfied with the company's situation and questioned why the former leading passenger transport had fallen here. The Highway Bureau of the Ministry of Transportation said that the outstanding funds involved subsidies from local governments and the tourism department, and some of the funds have been processed and will be dispersed as soon as possible. Guoguang Passenger Transport said that because the funding schedule has been disrupted, the subsidy has not been in place, affecting the company's payment of salaries and other operating costs. News highlights: A gas explosion occurred at the Far Eastern New Century Chemical Fiber Factory in Xinpu Town, Hsinchu County, in the early morning of the 6th, killing 2 people and injuring 19 people. The accident is suspected to be caused by the leakage of the insulation pipeline. The fire has not expanded, and other plants have not been affected. Since 2019, there have been a number of fires at the factory, causing a worrying safety record and deeply affecting residents. The factory said that it would make every effort to treat the injured, assist the families in dealing with the bereavement matters, and apologize for the social unrest, and the cause of the accident is still under investigation. News highlights: Big S, Su Ziwan, unfortunately passed away suddenly due to influenza complicated by pneumonia, and the news shocked the society. She was infected when she traveled to Japan with her family, and after being cremated, her husband Gu Junyi and Xiao S returned to Taiwan with her ashes. Xiao S said that he would not hold a farewell ceremony for his sister, respected her low-key personality, and thanked everyone for their love for her. Da S was open-minded before her death, and once confessed that she didn't want to hold a farewell ceremony, and hoped that people would commemorate her in a happy way. The family kept a low profile and did not hold a funeral hall or farewell ceremony, which seemed to be her last request. News highlights: South Korean actor Kwon Sang-woo revealed that he had been infected with parasites due to long-term consumption of beef liver and beef offal when promoting the new movie Big Picture Agent 2, and the health examination at that time showed that his lungs had turned white, and even needed to take a CT scan. At that time, he loved to eat these raw foods, which resulted in parasitic infections, and although he recovered after taking the medicine, he said that he never dared to eat such foods again. News highlights: In recent years, with the increase in foreign tourists, many people have found that Japanese people are less friendly to tourists than they used to be. According to Taiwan-based Japanese writer Aji-san of The Japanese, this change has intensified since 2024, mainly due to the frequent negative posts on social media about foreign tourists who do not follow the rules and damage the environment, which makes Japanese people stereotype foreign tourists. In addition, as economic pressures rose and the gap between rich and poor widened, many Japanese turned their dissatisfaction to foreign tourists, causing hostility to deepen. This is particularly true in tourist cities such as Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, reflecting the declining friendliness of tourists in Japan. News highlights: Far Eastern New Century Textile Factory in Hsinchu County caused a gas explosion this morning, killing 2 people and injuring 14 people. The accident occurred in 1994 in a new 7-story factory that mainly produces polyester cotton. At around 3 o'clock in the morning, Cai Nan, the supervisor on duty, went to check the source of the alarm, but due to the explosion caused by the high concentration of heat leakage, he died on the spot. After the accident, the surrounding area of the plant will be shut down, and safety inspections will be conducted, and operations will be decided whether to resume according to the situation. The 2 deceased in the accident were a 35-year-old man surnamed Cai and a 43-year-old man surnamed Zhang. The company said it would do its best to assist the injured and their families and strengthen safety measures. News highlights: The issue of the SS property inheritance has attracted a lot of attention, especially the possible legal arrangements for inheritance between her and her husband Gu Junyi and her 2 children. According to Article 1138 of Taiwan's Civil Code, Gu Junyi, as the spouse of the S, and her 2 children, are the heirs in the first order, so they will inherit the estate jointly, usually equally. News highlights: In the results of the Nantou Caotan mayor by-election, the Kuomintang Jian defeated the Democratic Progressive Party Cai Mingxian, with 26,505 votes, exceeding the opponent's 14,397 votes. According to the latest poll, Su Shihua's satisfaction with governance reached 67.95%, and the KMT support also rose to 36.87%. In contrast, the support of the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, and the Taiwan People's Party, TPP, declined to 14.27% and 6.22% respectively. These changes indicate that the KMT support in Nantou is gradually growing. News highlights the cold air mass will weaken and the temperature will rise today, but from the second half of Friday onwards, it will usher in cold air that will challenge the intensity of the cold snap, bringing cold weather. Former director Zhang Mingdian warned that the cold air will continue until next Monday morning, reminding the public to pay attention to keeping warm. Although the intensity of this cold air is not as strong as the 2016 cold spell, it will still cause discomfort to most people and will last for a short time, so you should pay special attention to the cold weather from Friday to next Monday. News highlights Li Wenzhong, executive director of the National Defense and Security Research Institute, resigned on the 4th due to health problems, and the outside world once speculated that it may be related to his criticism of the DPP's policies. Li Wenzhong's wife, Chen Daiyu, confirmed that Li Wenzhong's health test results were unsatisfactory, and the doctor recommended immediate stent fitting, quit smoking and improve his daily routine, otherwise his health would be critical. Mr. Chen said Mr. Li would undergo surgery and work to improve his health, and responded to speculation about his attitude, emphasizing his focus on defense and politics. News highlights after Big S died suddenly, Wang Xiaofei claimed that she was responsible for arranging Big S's charter flight back to Taiwan and paying the fees, which triggered Xiao S's rebuttal, emphasizing that all future arrangements would be handled by the Su family and her husband Mike. Xiao S found it difficult to understand the lies spread by the outside world, emphasizing that people are doing what the sky is watching. In addition, her predecessor Zhang Yingying also criticized Wang Xiaofei on Weibo, making the incident more complicated and revealing internal conflicts in the family. News highlights the Taipei District Prosecutor's Office investigated the murder case of the Buddhist ashram, in which the deceased Cai Nu was forced to bow down in corporal punishment, resulting in the death of rhabdomyolysis. Prosecutors interrogated the spiritual leader of the monastery, Wang Yun, and 3 believers, and found that Cai Nu had been repeatedly abused before her death. The trio argued that kneeling was a religious ritual and did not harm Cai, but witnesses accused them of dominating the corporal punishment process. Cai Nu's body had multiple bruises, and the autopsy confirmed that the cause of death was rhabdomyolysis, similar to the excessive physical exercise in the Hung Zhongkaiu case. There are currently 11 accused in the case. News highlights Big S died suddenly of influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48, shocking the society. Xiao S confirmed the death, and her ex-husband Wang Xiaofei also rushed back to Taiwan. Big S has been cremated in Japan, and the ashes were escorted back to Taiwan by her husband Gu Junyi on a VistaJet private plane, and it was rumored that the ashes will be placed at home for a long time without a farewell ceremony. It is reported that the special plane is about 360,000 Taiwan dollars per hour, and it is estimated that it will cost 1.44 million Taiwan dollars to fly from Haneda to Matsuyama. Another source pointed out that the charter fee was actually the responsibility of Xiao S and his wife. News highlights Rosenberg, the chairman of the American Institute in Taiwan, 8, recently announced her resignation, and the 8 website has listed her as the former chairman and removed the relevant avatar and name. Rosenberg took office in 2023 and served as senior director for China and Taiwan affairs at the White House National Security Council. The reason for the departure is unknown, and there has been no response from the U.S. State Department or 8. It is worth noting that it is still uncertain whether Rosenberg's departure is related to U.S. President Trump's announcement of the dismissal of senior officials and the reduction of civil servants. News highlights Huang Xiaosan, the leader of the Bamboo Union Gang, died of illness on the 4th of this month, and after discussions within the gang, it was determined that Lu Zhenyi's, the former head of Atang, would take over as the gang leader. Huang Xiaosan once personally explained the baton to Lu Zhenyi's when he was hospitalized after a stroke, and informed other elders. With his financial strength, low profile, and extensive political and business connections, Lu Zhenyi's is the best candidate to take over as the new gang leader. Wang's farewell ceremony was to be held on March 6, but due to police concerns, the grand farewell ceremony was limited and was changed to a small-scale arrangement. News highlights actress S. Su Ziwan, died of influenza complicated by pneumonia, and her ashes were escorted back to Taiwan by her family on the 5th. It is rumored that Big S's ashes will be permanently placed at home. This is because little S, Su Zidi, hopes to see his sister every day. The two sisters have a deep relationship, and Xiao S has an emotional breakdown after Big S's sudden death and is unable to make any decisions. The family finally chose to keep Big S's ashes at home, so that little S could talk to his sister at any time and get some comfort. News highlights the Labor Insurance Bureau of the Ministry of Labor today, 6th, issued the maternity benefit of the National Pension Insurance, according to the current monthly insurance amount of 19,761 yuan, which will be paid for 2 months at a time, a total of 39,522 yuan. In the case of twins or more, it will be paid on a pro-rata basis. Maternity benefits are subject to a 5-year statute of limitations, which must be applied for within 5 years of childbirth. In addition, from February 13th to the end of the month, there are 18 payments, including farmers' monthly retirement savings, labor retirement monthly pensions, labor insurance annuities, etc. News highlights Lee Ju-hyun, the goddess of Korean cheerleading, has gained a lot of fan support after coming to Taiwan last year for her exquisite appearance and excellent dancing skills. Recently, she announced that she has joined Fubon Angels, which will make her debut at the Taiwan Stadium, which has caused heated discussions. She recently changed her social head sticker, and her face shape is more refined after losing 12 kilograms, which is surprising. Lee revealed that she had reduced her weight from 62 kilograms to 50 kilograms, and expressed her gratitude for Taiwanese fans and Taiwanese food, sandwiches. She also excitedly agreed to meet her fans at Sinswang Baseball Stadium. News highlights to S. Su Ziwan, unfortunately passed away due to illness at the age of 48. Regarding her funeral arrangements, there have been recent rumors alleging that her ex-husband Wang Xiaofei paid for the charter flight, which caused controversy. Xiao S. Su Zidi, responded to this, emphasizing that all arrangements for Big S's funeral, including charter flights, were taken care of by the Su family and her husband Su Yejin, and said that they could not understand that this kind of untrue lie continued to circulate. News highlights: after returning to the White House in 2024, Trump promoted the Stargate project, which aims to ensure U.S. leadership in the field of AI. The plan is to invest $100 billion in collaboration with OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, and other companies, and is expected to create a large number of jobs. While the plan is seen as a major move in AI development, it also faces challenges such as energy, labor, governance, and competition, and its success will determine the future technological and economic status of the United States. News highlights: a gas explosion fire broke out in the North Factory of Far Eastern New Century Chemical Fiber General Plant No. 6 in the early hours of this morning, resulting in 2 deaths and 21 minor and serious injuries. Preliminary investigation revealed that a suspected leak of high-temperature gas from a thermal oil pipeline caused an explosion. Cai Beiwei, a 35-year-old supervisor on duty, and Zhang Junyu, a 43-year-old engineer, unfortunately died. Cai Beiwei has just been promoted to engineer and has served Yunhua for nearly 9 years. The factory said that it would give preferential compensation and send personnel to assist the injured in seeking medical treatment. The cause of the fire is still pending an official investigation. News highlights: before his death, the leader of the Bamboo Union Gang, Huang Xiaosan, expressed his hope that Liu Zhenyi's, the Buckle, would take over and gradually support the Prime Age faction. Despite opposition within the gang, Liu Zhenyi's eventually succeeded him. After Huang Xiaosan was riddled with illness, he realized that the Bamboo Union Gang had become the focus of public security, and hoped to transform, so he chose Liu Zhenyi's, who had political and business connections. Liu Zhenyi's successfully subdued the gunman to save Lian Shengguan in 2010, and his image increased greatly, but he also faced dissatisfaction within the gang. With the impact of the epidemic, Huang Xiaosan's plan was delayed for a while, and finally successfully promoted internal transformation. News highlights: Su Jing, Deputy Company Commander of the Special Operations Lieutenant of the Army's Special Operations Command, passed the U.S. Commando inspection training before the Lunar New Year and received an armband for the assault. This training is extremely difficult, and only a few special operations elites from different countries have successfully graduated. The training covers mountain warfare skills, swamp warfare skills, etc., and the trainees need to go through arduous field exercises and strict training for leading cadres before those who succeed can enter the next stage. Su Jing became one of the few members of the Nationalist Army to receive this honor, demonstrating his outstanding leadership and tactical ability. News highlights: Big S, Su Ziwan, died of influenza complicated by pneumonia in a Tokyo hospital during the Spring Festival at the age of 48, shocking everyone. Peng Xiaodao posted a message of condolences on social media, recalling the deep friendship with Big S, and exposing the heartwarming actions of the two in the past. Peng Xiaodao recalled that when S was at Huagong Art School, he invited him to eat with Xiao S in a restaurant, allowing him to experience the first American meal in his life, and this meal became an eternal memory in his heart. He also revealed that Big S had called to care about him and recommended his agent, hoping that he could develop again. News highlights: amateur actor Ma Yu, who co-starred with Gui Lunmei and Lin Chen, in the movie The 36th Story, passed away today, 5th. Golden Horse Award Best Director Xiao Yaquan revealed on IG that Ma Yu passed away last week, and left a final message: life is coming to an end, there are no regrets. Xiao Yaquan recalled that the two first met, when Ma Yu was not a professional actor, and his personality was enthusiastic and straightforward. Although they haven't seen each other for half a year, the two kept in touch and never learned that she was sick, which made her sudden death regrettable. News highlights: the Central Meteorological Administration pointed out that the first wave of cold air mass weakened today, 6th, and a new wave of cold air will be ushered in tomorrow, 7th, which is expected to challenge the cold snap level, and the low temperature may drop to about 5 degrees. Former director of the Meteorological Bureau, Cheng Mingdian, posted on social media, revealing that there are obvious cloud map characteristics over Taiwan, showing the boundaries of altocumulus clouds, and explaining the principle of the cloud line phenomenon. He reminded that although it will not be as extreme as the Overlord cold snap in 2016, it is still necessary to be prepared, especially in the northern region to usher in colder weather. News highlights: Taiwanese actress S, Su Ziwan, died suddenly due to flu complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48. Her sister Xiao S, Su Zidi, confirmed the news, shocking the entertainment industry. Big S's nephew posted a message of condolences on social platforms, sharing old photos and writing "Love you forever" to express his sadness. Xiao S's eldest daughter, Su Ziwen, was unable to see Big S's last face because she was studying in the United States, and she reportedly rushed back to Taiwan. News highlights: Taiwan's blue and white joint efforts to freeze the central budget triggered a recall wave, and a citizen in Hualien was suspected of being visited by household officials to ask whether they were involved in the recall and signature, which made Zheng Ziwen, the chef of a well-known restaurant, react strongly. He criticized the public power for not interfering in elections and recalls, called on the public to collect evidence and report similar situations in accordance with the law, and questioned the connection between local governments and recall activities, especially with legislator Fu Kunking. News highlights: former DPP legislator Gao Jiedu broke the news that Kuomintang legislator Li Yangziu owned a number of undeclared mansions in California, 2 of which were purchased after she was elected as a legislator. Li Yangziu apologized today, explaining that when she was a student at the University of California in 1994, her father bought a house in her name, and because he was not clear about the property declaration law, he did not declare the property, saying that he would calmly face administrative penalties. News highlights: Su Ziwan, died of influenza complicated by pneumonia on the 2nd at the age of 48, and his ashes were escorted back to Taiwan by Gu Junyi on a private charter flight on the 5th. The video circulating on the internet said that the charter flight was proposed and funded by Wang Xiaofei, and Wang Xiaofei's mother Zhang Lan invited credit according to praise. In this regard, Xiao S issued a statement to strongly refute it, saying that the Su family was responsible for the aftermath and charter arrangements of Big S, and criticized these lies as intolerable. News highlights: a few days ago, it was reported that the group that dismissed Kuomintang legislator Ma Wenjun went to the Louisa Pulley distillery store to set up a stall to collect the mail, but was persuaded to leave, and the store issued an announcement afterwards to refuse all political activities of political parties, which caused some people to be dissatisfied and threatened to boycott. In contrast, the Kuomintang legislators expressed their support for Louisa. Lawyer Lin Heekan posted an article to restore the incident, emphasizing that the store was not unfriendly to the recall group. News highlights former DPP legislator Lai Pinu is known for her outstanding appearance, and once had the titles of Goddess of Student Movement and Goddess of the Legislative Yuan. Although she will step down as a legislator in 2024, she still openly expresses her views on current affairs from time to time. During the New Year's festival, Lai Pinu shared her recent situation in Europe in the community, and posted a beautiful photo at Oxford University in the United Kingdom, allowing fans to leave crazy messages and confess, super positive. News highlights Taiwanese actress Da.S, Suzy Wan, traveled to Japan with her family during the Spring Festival holiday, and unfortunately passed away due to influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48. The news shocked the whole Taiwan, and Xiao S confirmed that her sister had gone home, and she would not set up a mourning hall in the Longji Hall, nor would she hold a farewell ceremony. In recent years, Big S has rarely been active in fluorescent screens, and the only endorsement is the brand recommended by her sister Little S, which recently announced the removal of her promotional advertisements to show respect for the deceased. In the endorsement photo, Da.S also vaguely expressed his love for her husband Gu Junyi. News highlights the Blue Camp Youth Army had planned to remove legislator Wang Shijian, but was stopped by Huang Lu Jinru, chairman of the Kuomintang North City Party Department, and called on supporters not to move Wang Shijian. Political commentator Wu Jing'ai pointed out that Wang Shijian's supporters are mostly middle voters in Xiaoko, and that the Blue Camp's move was to show goodwill to Xiaoko, and to promote the opposition alliance composed of Huang Jingying, Ho Hanting, and Lin Xing'er to promote the removal of Shilin invited district legislator Wu Saiyao. Wu Jing'ai believes that Huang Lu Jinru's behavior reflects political calculations, and the Blue Camp needs Xiaoko's support. News highlights former DPP legislator Gao Jie revealed that land member Li Yangziu owned a number of mansions in Sanya, China, and Irvine, California, USA, and did not declare his assets. Li Yangziu admitted that he did not declare the Irvine property purchased by his father in 1994 because he did not understand the property declaration regulations, and expressed his deep apologies and calmly accepted the administrative fine. Gao Jie pointed out that Li Yangziu also has a Fullerton mansion in the United States, and he did not declare it before the election, which is suspected of deliberately concealing it. News highlights 48-year-old actress Da.S, Suzy Wan, unfortunately died of influenza complicated by pneumonia, and her ashes arrived in Taiwan after cremation. Ex-husband Wang Xiaofei hurriedly drove a luxury car to the Big S mansion to mourn. The outside world is concerned about whether Wang Xiaofei will take a pair of children back to Beijing, and whether she will inherit Da.S.'s inheritance. Wang Xiaofei's friends revealed that he was unable to accept the sudden death of Big S, his emotional breakdown, and the recurrence of depression and bipolar disorder. As for the future arrangements, he is still unable to think about related issues. News highlights there are rumors on the internet that dumplings can hurt the kidneys, but nephrologists Wang Jieli and Chen Junji both said that the dumplings themselves do not directly harm the kidneys. Wang Jieli pointed out that every behavior in life may cause certain risks to the kidneys, but the risk of dumplings is relatively low. However, if you have chronic kidney disease, dumplings should not be eaten often, mainly because fillings and sauces often contain high fat, high salt, and other ingredients, and long-term excessive intake is not good for the kidneys. News highlights a boiler explosion occurred at the Far East Textiles Inpu plant in Hsinchu County in the early hours of this morning, killing 2 people and injuring 14 others. Preliminary investigation suggests that the cause may have been the Dow oil spill. The incident has raised concerns, especially with the plant's accident record, which has seen multiple fire accidents from 2019 to 2024, including fires caused by welding errors, fires caused by mechanical failures, and exhaust system failures, leaving nearby residents concerned about the safety situation. This accident once again reminded the importance of factory safety management and raised concerns about the company's accident handling. News highlights actress Da.S, Suzy Wan, unfortunately passed away due to influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48, and her body was cremated and transported back to Taiwan. The current husband Gu Junyi lost contact with Da.S for a while after his death, and later revealed to the media that he had an emotional breakdown and didn't care about Da.S.'s legacy, only about Da.S.'s death. He accompanied Da.S all the way to his deathbed and was deeply saddened. Big S.'s ashes returned to Taiwan by private jet on the afternoon of the 5th. Gu Junyi held the pink ashes in a sad mood, and the family and friend group revealed that it was difficult for him to face his future life. News highlights with the wave of recalls in Taiwan, the Kuomintang legislators feel the pressure, and the 6 blue committees of Dawen City recently contacted Legislative President Han Kuo-yu and planned to hold a spring wine in Luzhou district on the evening of February 7th. The meeting will discuss countermeasures against the recall, especially the 2 legislators, Tu Kwon-gil and Niu Suding, who are in more danger and plan to take this opportunity to fight a team battle and train for the 2026 election. News highlights South Korean actress Dara expressed her condolences to Big S, Seo Hee-won, through social platforms late at night on the 5th, and responded to the clip posted by netizens that she sang the theme song of the Taiwan version of Meteor Garden. Dara said that Big S has influenced her career and will always be missed. Dara had covered the song in 2019 and uploaded it on her personal channel. At the end of last year, she also performed this song live at the Kaohsiung New Year's Eve party to express her respect for Meteor Garden. Her mourning reveals her deep affection for Da.S and the work. News highlights after Da.S, Suzy Wan, unfortunately passed away due to pneumonia caused by influenza. Her ashes returned to Taiwan at around 4 p.m. today, 5th, accompanied by her husband Gu Junyi. According to the report, the family's decision to keep Da.S.'s ashes at home permanently is due to the fact that Xiao S, Suzy, wants to be able to see her sister every day and communicate with her when she has time. Xiao S.'s emotions were extremely broken, unable to accept his sister's death, and his mental condition was worrying. People who are familiar with the S family revealed that Xiao S was almost unable to make any decisions when he was in Japan, and his mood was so low that he couldn't speak, which also made the family decide to commemorate Big S in this way. News highlights after the year, the tide of revocation is set off, and the well-known fan expert translator KK criticized the Taiwanese jade bird for the sudden death of the Big S incident and the Louisa coffee boycott turmoil, which caused social disgust, thinking that the blue bird behaved more and more like a cockroach, but was unconscious, and pointed out that the Big S incident made the Taiwanese faction make a mistake in their position and fall into a predicament. Regarding the recall crisis, KK believes that without the blue camp variable, DPP legislator Wu Pei has a higher chance of being ousted, emphasizing that the position of the dead or greater will not help the DPP. News highlights in the Baishixi Water Corridor Children's Park in Hulong Town, Miaoli County, a father recently committed violence against his young daughter. The incident occurred on the 5th, when an unemployed man took his 2 daughters to Miaoli to relax. On the way the 10-year-old daughter vomited due to physical discomfort in the car. The man lost control of his emotions, and kicked his daughter several times on the spot. The incident was recorded by nearby people and uploaded to the internet, causing social concern. The local police and social affairs department quickly intervened and ascertained the whereabouts of the man and his daughter, confirming that the girl had not suffered serious injuries. Police said the man would face legal penalties, including fines or parenting education. News highlights that S unfortunately passed away due to influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48, and his ashes have returned to Taiwan and will be placed at home for a long time. Regarding the issue of inheritance, according to the lawyer's analysis, the parental authority of the 2 children belongs to the biological father Wang Xiaofei, and the estate will be divided by the children and Gu Junyi 1/3 each. However, since the parental authority belongs to Wang Xiaofei, in fact, most of the inheritance may be controlled by him. Gu Junyi can claim the distribution of the difference in property after marriage, but considering the time of marriage, the amount of property distribution should be limited. News highlights some 165 to 167 female prisoners were sexually assaulted and killed in arson after M23 rebels took control of a prison riot in Goma, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Hundreds of prisoners escaped, and the local streets were chaotic and corpses littered. At least 2,900 people were killed in the conflict, with some bodies still stored in morgues, according to the UN report. Although the rebels declared a ceasefire, they launched another offensive on the 5th, occupying Niabogui and other places. News highlights Big S, Suzy Wan, died suddenly of influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48, and the news shocked the entertainment industry. Her nephew posted condolences on social platforms and shared old photos to express his grief. Xiao S's eldest daughter Su Ziwen was unable to see Big S's last face because she was studying in the United States, and it was rumored that she had hurried back to Taiwan. News highlights when the Penghu Magong police searched the home of a man surnamed Zhuang who was suspected of illegal possession of a firearm. Although they did not find the gun, they accidentally left a handgun and 24 rounds of ammunition at the scene. The man's younger brother called the police after discovering the bag, and the police confirmed that it was an item left behind by the investigation team. The police department is deeply sorry for the incident and said that the relevant team members will be punished in accordance with the law, stressing that the search operation was carried out in accordance with the law at that time. News highlights the website of University Ask announced the top 100 most popular courses for high school students in 2025, among which NCCU Law won the championship for the first time, and the overall ranking of the law department rose in response to the increasing demand for law in Taiwan. The science and technology industry has also driven the popularity of semiconductors, AI, and other departments, and the rankings of the electrical and engineering departments of National Taiwan University have risen. Finance, medicine, and other departments are still popular, and the Deaf Department of South China University students has entered the list for the first time, reflecting the high concern for future employment. The overall trend shows that high school students are more likely to choose subjects with high-paying career prospects. News highlights Big S, Suzy Wan, died suddenly of influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48, shocking the entertainment circles of China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Big S's friend Chen Jianzhou, Black, was accused of being a drug sovereign because his wife Fan Wiki's twin sons were hospitalized for influenza on January 22, and the black couple attended a banquet with Big S 3 days later. In response to the doubts from the outside world, the black man finally responded today, saying that he would recall Big S in his own way, and emphasized that Big S has always been low-key, and the way he misses her should be kept in his heart. News highlights Blackpink announced a contract extension in December 2023 and will release their own solo titles. Recently, the official released the trailer of Blackpink's 2025 World Tour teaser late at night on the 5th, indicating that they will start their world tour. The trailer shows the enthusiastic scene of fans cheering and ends with the 4 members posing in a fixed pose, which arouses the excitement and anticipation of fans. Within 12 hours of uploading, the video attracted more than 1 million views, and fans expressed their excitement and anticipation of their return. News highlights former Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, legislator Gao Jie recently broke the news, accusing Kuomintang legislator Li Yangziu of owning a number of properties in the United States without declaring them, and questioning whether she holds a U.S. green card. Li Yangziu denied it at first, emphasizing that his assets were declared in accordance with the law and he did not have a green card. However, Li Yangziu issued a statement today, 6, admitting that he did not declare the property in Irvine, California, USA, and said that he would calmly face administrative penalties. She explained that she had bought a house in her own name in order to facilitate her studies and take care of her father, and apologized for failing to comply with the Property Declaration Act. News highlights to S. Suzy Wan, died of influenza complicated by pneumonia in Japan at the age of 48, and his ashes returned to Taiwan on a private charter flight on the 5th. Weibo circulated that the charter fee was paid by Wang Xiaofei, which caused controversy. Xiao S solemnly retorted that the Su family was responsible for all the arrangements for the future, and questioned the appearance of the lie. Zhang Lan did not respond to the matter, continued to live broadcast and respond to criticism, emphasizing that she was not afraid of black fans, and said that the lawyer had intervened to warn that online speech should be responsible. News highlights the leader of the Bamboo Union Gang, Meng Shaosan, passed away on the 4th at the age of 75. Subsequently, the Bamboo Union Gang decided that Liu Zhenyi's, the former head of Atang, would take over as the gang leader. Liu Zhenyi's has rich political and business connections, and once saved Lian Chengguan's life in 2010, so he is known as Lian Chengguan's savior by the outside world. In addition, Liu Zhenyi's also has extensive influence in Taiwan's political and business circles. Huang Xiaosan's farewell ceremony will be held on March 6. News highlights: the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, has vigorously pushed for the removal of regional Blue Committee members, and has listed 6 Blue Committee members in Dawin as the first batch of targets. In the face of the threat of recall, these Blue Committee members turned to Legislative President Han Kuo-yu for help, and planned to hold a secret meeting on the 7th to discuss countermeasures. The plight of the 6 Dawin legislators has attracted the attention of the KMT's top brass, because if a member of the Blue Committee is removed, it may affect the status of the party's top leaders such as Han Kuo-yu as the head of the legislature. Zhu Lilan and local politicians in Dawin also actively intervened to try to preserve the Blues' advantage on the ground. News highlights: the news of the Su Ziwan dying suddenly due to influenza complicated by pneumonia shocked the entertainment industry, and it was difficult for relatives and friends to accept it. After learning the bad news, Cai Kongyong expressed his grief through the social platform on the 5th, and said that he would continue to maintain his imagination of the good fortune of Big S. On the afternoon of the 6th, he will appear at the International Book Fair to have a dialogue with Japanese writer Banana Yoshimoto, and feel that Banana Yoshimoto's works focus on people who are lost. Big S's ashes have returned to Taiwan on the 5th, and Little S said that he would not hold a farewell ceremony and thanked everyone for their love for his sister. News highlights: Su Shihua, the magistrate of Nantou County, was 67.95% satisfied with his governance in the latest poll, showing that his governance effectiveness has been affirmed by the public, especially in the field of tourism and tourism. She successfully supported the election of Kuomintang candidate Jian Qisheng in the Caotan mayoral by-election in January, a victory that not only strengthened her political position, but also further strengthened her re-election foundation. The victory in this by-election reflects Su Shihua's success in splitting the Green camp and poaching important political figures from it. The KMT support has also risen in opinion polls, which has played a positive role in Su Shihua's future election prospects. News highlights: amateur actor Ma Yu, who is known for her role as Gui Lunmiai's mother in the movie The 36th Story, recently passed away due to a serious illness and died at an unknown age. Director Xiao Yaquan warned Ma Yu on social media, recalling that she became an enthusiastic and vibrant actor in the film through a friend's introduction. Although Ma Yu is not an actress in her own right, she successfully interprets the role of the single mother in the film. Xiao Yaquan revealed that although they did not see each other in the last half of Ma Yu's last year, the two kept in touch through line until she said at the last moment of her life that life is coming to an end, no regrets. The exchange during this period of time made Xiao Yaquan miss the actor even more. News highlights: Su Ziwan died suddenly of influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48. Although the sudden death shocked the entertainment industry, did not shy away from talking about life and death before his death. In previous shows, she has revealed that she hopes to play the song Joker at the funeral, and explained that this song represents her identification with the comedian's heart. Big S has always been open-minded to face life, and once shared that after giving birth to his second child, he is more accustomed to recording the thoughts in life and the things that should be explained, and said that he will treat every day as the last day. Despite this, Xiao S said that he would not hold a farewell ceremony for his sister and thanked everyone for their love for Big S. News highlights today: the Golden State Warriors and the Miami Heat struck a blockbuster deal to send star Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. According to the report, Butler has agreed to sign a 2-year contract extension with the Warriors worth $121 million, which will ensure he plays with the Warriors through the 2026-27 season. The deal will have a significant impact on the future roster changes between the two teams, as well as the competition for the playoffs. News highlights today: 6th, the cold snap weekend. It was still cold in the morning and evening, and there were localized brief rains in the north, eastern half and northern mountainous areas of Dawin, and cloudy in other areas. In terms of temperature, it was 11 to 13 degrees in the north and northeast, 17 to 21 degrees in the north and east half during the day, and about 23 to 24 degrees in the central and southern parts and other areas. Meteorological expert Lin Dean reminded that the third wave of cold snap will hit tomorrow, 7th, and the temperature will drop sharply, as low as 7 to 10 degrees in the north and northeast, and the weather will turn significantly colder. News highlights: Big S, Su Ziwan, died suddenly in Japan due to influenza complicated by pneumonia at the age of 48, and the news shocked all walks of life. Her ashes have been stored at home, but so far no family members have publicly arranged condolences or public condolences. The media surrounded her mansion in Xinyi district, but it was still quiet inside and out. According to people familiar with the matter, Xiao S had an emotional breakdown during his time in Japan and had difficulty making decisions, so he finally decided to store Big S's ashes at home permanently, so that she could express her thoughts to her sister at any time. Big S has a history of epilepsy, has been hospitalized in a coma many times in the past, and even lost signs of life during childbirth. News highlights: Taipower's financial improvement budget plan was blocked, and the pressure on electricity prices to increase in April increased. Taipower's current loss of 1 yuan per kilowatt-hour in the price of people's livelihood is not optimistic, and the loss is expected to be about 46.4 billion yuan if there is no improvement. Although the Ministry of Economic Affairs said that there is no plan for the increase in electricity prices, it is expected that the probability of an increase in people's livelihood electricity prices will increase, and if adjusted, the average increase will need to reach 5.6%. In addition, Taipower needs to continue to monitor international fuel prices and submit relevant information to the review committee for discussion. News highlights: recently, the northern part of Queensland, Australia, was hit by record-breaking heavy rain, with some areas receiving nearly 1 meter of rain in 48 hours, causing severe flooding. Heavy rains caused rivers to burst their banks and the Herbert and Ross rivers to rise sharply, the worst in 50 years. Such extreme weather events are closely related to global warming, as warming exacerbates the accumulation of water vapor, resulting in more rainfall concentrated in a short period of time, increasing the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events. News highlights: Big S, Su Ziwan, died suddenly of influenza complicated by pneumonia in Japan, which shocked the Chinese entertainment industry. Her ex-husband Wang Xiaofei expressed deep condolences and publicly expressed his nostalgia, which was surprising. However, Zhang Yingying, the old love of Big S, expressed dissatisfaction with Wang Xiaofei's behavior, criticized him for hurting Big S in the past, and pointed out that Wang Xiaofei's current grief is acting. Zhang Yingying further criticized Wang Xiaofei and her supporters, and emphasized her knowledge of the past, alluding to Wang Xiaofei's betrayal. News highlights Japan is experiencing the strongest and longest cold snap of the season, which is expected to last until February 8th. Snowfall in eastern Hokkaido and most areas near the Sea of Japan reached a record high, with 85 centimeters of snow falling in Obihiro City in 6 hours, and record-breaking snowfall in many locations in Hokkaido. Heavy snowfall affected flight operations, with the two major airlines canceling a total of 63 flights, affecting about 5,800 passengers. The Japan Meteorological Agency warns the public to avoid unnecessary outings and to take precautions against possible catastrophic heavy snowfall,